Good afternoon. I'm really happy that I'm here, that I can host this small conference about creative industry. We call it Podkarpackie Hollywood, a lot of creativity. We meet here to present and discuss some really important things, really important businesses which are created in our region, Southeast Poland. So it's quite important for us, for companies which are going there, and for students, people who are living there. My name is Łukasz. I'm from University of Information Technology and Management, and I got this really big pleasure to be your host during today. Land of creativity. What's that mean? Podkarpackie is a region where large creative companies are setting their headquarters. We can ask, where is the trend come from? So why they are making this decision? Why they are placing the headquarters right there, not in other part of our really beautiful country? We've got really great staff here. We've got universities. We've got great people. So I think that this is why the things goes like that. Of course, I would like to discuss this with my today's speakers, which I will introduce you in next few minutes. First of all, please give me the chance to make this creative part of the business a little bit closer to you. So we will start, or we just going to discuss today a little bit about extended reality, virtual reality, augmented reality, and general, very trendy right now, metaverse. The first speaker will be Konrad Ziara. He is Chief Executive Officer and founder of Cinematic VR, the company which is really amazing and is going to transfer imagination into real life. So, Konrad, you are welcome. Let's start.
Hello. Thanks. Hello, marhaban. I'm the CEO, my name is Konrad Ziara, and I'm the CEO of a Polish startup called Cinematic VR. We are based in Rzeszów, southeast Poland, in the Podkarpackie region. And I'm going to talk about what we do basically, which is virtual reality, augmented reality, and hopefully soon metaverse, because we do a broad variety of XR, which is extended reality, which is all of the things combined. Productions for business clients. So we don't do games, we do VR and AR products or services for business clients, for basically for marketing and also training purposes. And we've been doing this for a long time now, because we've been at the front of the adoption of the new technology in this B2B market. The company exists from 2016, but our team is really experienced, and we've been doing it for a very long time, since the first Oculus goggles came out in 2013, really. And we've done a lot of projects for huge clients like Mercedes-Benz and Nespresso, HP, and whatnot, both in Poland, domestically, and abroad. And I'm going to talk. My goal here is to inspire you guys to learn about VR and AR, and perhaps use the potential the technologies have in your own businesses, right? So why immersive technologies in general? Why we do this, and why our clients want it? Because as you can see, on your left, the mobile device, the screen it has, flat little screen, when you put it into a VR headset, it can display, using the same pixel density, using the same processing power, it can display the space around you. It can immerse you into the virtual environment, whether it's simulated or something totally abstract. And as I mentioned, we've been doing it for a long time now, and this is basically how we started, by doing custom VR stuff, not to mention software. Nowadays, you can enter any consumer electronics shop and you can take a VR camera off the shelf. This wasn't the case back in the good old days, the 2014 or even before that. So, but starting with the basics, what is virtual reality? It's the stuff that you put on your head. So VR goggles are necessary, but the technology allows you to fully immerse yourself into the creation or the simulation, the virtual environment. There are several techniques that you can use to produce the content. So first one is the easiest, the simplest. Hence the name of the company, because we started doing films because our background is both cinema production, video production, and programming development, game development. So the films is something that you instinctively know what it is. It's just that it's surrounding you because it's 360 usually, and it can be stereo, 3D, which means that you have depth perception, and it's that much cooler than a regular video, that much more immersive and realistic. And you can use it for promotional stuff and also training. You can do training videos. So I'm going to show you an example of an app that we did for a neighboring region in Poland, Małopolskie region. We did 150 films in VR for them, and we sort of squished them into 16 virtual tours that are built into this app, because this is the app part, this is interactive. I'm going to talk about apps in a second, and then you select your virtual tour that you want to watch, and then you click play and you can see the 360 3D film. So, as I mentioned, this is quite easy. You just film, right? But you have to use a specialized gear, specialized equipment, special 360 camera. There's a lot of post-production involved. That's more difficult than the regular post-production, and that's the, I guess that's the most difficult part, is the post-production. And then you display it on a virtual reality headset, virtual reality goggles. So another key element of what we do is virtual reality applications. And what they allow you, in contrast with the film, because the film you just watch, you can make a virtual reality film interactive, just like you can make a regular film interactive, but there's always going to be like a linear thread that you just watch, and then you perhaps have you can have ability to choose A or B, and then you again watch a film. But VR apps are created with a 3D engine, either Unreal or Unity, like a video game basically. So they fully immerse you, and they allow you to walk within the space that you have in the app. You can interact with objects, you can touch them, pick them up with virtual reality controllers. So we usually use it for training purposes, because then you, as the person who is using the virtual reality app, can train your muscle memory, because you're doing the thing that you're going to be doing when you're going to be working with, let's say, specialized equipment or something like that. So I'm going to show you an example of an app that we did that trains a forest inspectorate workers. So you put on the goggles, you have the VR controllers in your hands, and you manipulate them to interact with the machine, with the chainsaw, and you basically do the things that you're going to do later in your real work. So this can prepare you for all the kinds of dangers, you can make fire safety hazard, fire safety training. So it's ideal for training workforce. But you can also do trainings using films, but again, they are not as realistic and not as interactive and immersive as virtual reality. So this is one of our coolest projects. I'm really proud of it, and I want to show it to you. This is essentially an end-to-end solution for the fashion industry, right? So you, as a fashion designer or a fashion brand, if you want to have a virtual reality app and you want to showcase using virtual reality your products, you can digitize, using our solution, your products by just simply creating VR 180 photos. That's easy. We wanted to make it as painless and as simple as possible. Then you sign up to our platform, you upload the photos, you fill in the product information, and at the end you have a virtual reality app. It's that simple. I mean, it's a simplified process of digitizing stuff, putting it into the app, and then showcasing to your clients or partners in a very realistic fashion, because you get the feeling that the person is standing right in front of you because of the virtual reality and because of the VR 180 format, which is also stereoscopic 3D format. So take a look at how it works. As I mentioned, first the photo shoot with stereoscopic equipment, special camera that shoots left and right images for both of your eyes. Then you put the stuff that you shoot into the platform. It's just point and click, and you fill in all the details about the products. You can preview everything. You have everything basically under control because of the admin panel. And then you put on the goggles, and you have it. You basically have your personalized virtual showroom every time if you have the goggles with you. So you can showcase your products basically anywhere in the world, almost as if it was real. This is like the next best thing to actually visiting a shop or atelier, right? So that's a couple of use cases of virtual reality. And I'd also like to talk just briefly about augmented reality, which is something that we also do, which is nowadays it's experience with a mobile device. So you have your smartphone or your tablet, and you're looking through the app that displays live feed from the camera, and you're it's like a window into the extended reality, because you're looking at the real world, and on top you're overlaying like another layer of 3D objects, animations, and whatnot, right? So it's really cool, and it's different in contrast to VR, where you need to have VR goggles with like a special equipment. Every one of you probably has a AR capable device in your pocket. So that's cool for marketing perspective. It's mostly used for marketing. There are smart AR glasses coming, but that's sooner or later. That's the future. And I'm just going to show you two of the projects we did. The first one is an AR app for the chain of shopping malls in Poland. It's introduced into 10 of them. You basically run around the shopping mall and collect animals. It's an educational app. You watch them in AR. You interact with them and you learn about them. So that's the clip from the application, obviously just from the AR module. You select a ground plane, you scan the ground, either the floor or the ground or tabletop, and you put a 3D animated object on top of that. That's one of the possible ways you can display AR. And in the next example, I'm going to show you the next one, which is the marker. So you can do this, but you can as well predefine a graphic, a marker, and then the app is no longer searching for flat surfaces. It just searches for this particular image and then quickly displays the 3D element or the animation or film on top of that marker. So this is app newsletter signups for this app that we did, and all of the shopping malls, they created like a little competition where you needed to upload a photo, because you can obviously shoot a photo with the app and upload it to a social platform. Can you guess where the prize was the best for the competition? Yeah. So it's fun. It's fun and it's really quickly accessible. You have it on your phone. You don't need specialized gear and equipment. And this is the second case where we have a marker. In this case, a painting. It's for a Polish museum in Krakow. And all of this is shot on a cell phone that's running the app. So you run your app, AR app, you point it at the marker, and immediately it recognizes the marker and overlays a 3D animation on top of it. So that's another type of AR that we can use, and it's what clients want, especially nowadays in the COVID era, where people don't necessarily want to put on VR headsets. This is more preferable. Although I have a VR headset with me, so if you guys want to check out what we did, I can show it to you. We can do it safely. We have wipes and sanitizer, so that's cool, that's okay. And the metaverse, right? The new buzzword. So to be honest, I don't really know what it's going to end up. But from all the marketing, right? This is something that we are really counting on as a business, as a company that's sort of already doing metaverse-like content for our clients. So this is probably going to be used for everything, right? Because obviously Facebook is nowadays used for everything, and every company is going to want to have some sort of its metaverse version. And I can't wait, really. Obviously, there are dangers involved, as with any other social platforms, but this is going to be cool. Whether we like it or not, it's coming, and it's going to allow you to interact with people the way you've never done before. But it will require fast internet and some sort of next generation mobile XR devices. And we are already, as I mentioned, doing a quasi-metaverse project. That's the last thing I wanted to show you. This is a virtual gallery we did for the gallery in Rzeszów, our home city. So we basically 3D scanned the gallery, the environment. It's a web-based experience. You can walk around and check things out, check the paintings out. But what's cool about it, it's not multiplayer yet, so that's why I'm not calling it metaverse yet, but it could be. You can check out the paintings, and the gallery has the ability to switch the paintings whenever they like it. So also you as a user can browse and choose the paintings from their database and display your private gallery if you want. So it's all connected to the back end that runs the switching of the paintings. Thank you very much, guys. That's all from me. Don't hesitate to use metaverse in your everyday life and work.
Thank you, Konrad. It was really nice to hear about these experiences. Probably we'll make it a little bit deeper during the discussion panel at the end of our conference. Right now, I'm asking Paweł Janda about his speech. He is Chief Executive Officer of Mobitouch company, which is placed in Rzeszów as well. They are dealing a lot with augmented reality. Of course, if you've got any questions to Konrad or there will be to Pavel, just stay with them to the end. We can discuss them during the discussion panel. Pavel, the stage is yours.
Thank you. Okay, hello everyone. My name is Pavel Janda, and as Łukasz said, I'm from Rzeszów and I'm a CEO of Mobitouch company. The company is specializing in software development, web and mobile applications, and we are strongly specialized in augmented reality. So I would like to introduce you to the current state of the augmented reality market. I will start with the definition of the AR, augmented reality, what it is, and then I will tell you more about what is the market potential for today and for the few next years. And then I will show you some really nice cases of how you can use the augmented reality in your business, on your real daily life. And then I will tell you a few words about where are we going with this technology and what is the nearest future. Okay, so what is the augmented reality? For me, it's the connection between the real world and the digital world. So the real world is enhanced with some digital aspects, some digital things, some multimedia, for example, videos, images, 3D objects, some voices, also some data, for example, the geolocation data. And then the first tool you can use to connect with this digital assets is your smartphone for now. So you can look into your smartphone camera and see the digital assets in front of you in your screen. So what is the market potential? As you can see, by the end of the 2021, the world global market was worth almost 15 billion US dollars. And the prediction is that it will be growing year by year by more than 30%. And in the next few years, 5 years, it should be worth almost 90 billion US dollars. So we can see a big growing for this technology. The technology of augmented reality is new, but for now the smartphones are really good. And the new techniques are used to provide the augmented reality technology to every user of the world. So first use case is for marketing purposes. You can imagine that your offline materials, some brochures, books, or billboards, or everything which is material, which is real, you can augment it with the digital asset. So for example, we built with our partner a tool and run video application which you can use to scan the 3D materials, for example the brochures, and then you can see some additional content. For example, the video of promoted product, or you can ask for some survey to the user. You can give him some really nice and additional content. For example, the video, the gallery, the 3D objects. You can show, for example, your product in 3 dimension, and the only limit is your imagination. You can show everything to the user. If you have a brochure, its content is not live, so you can bring it to life with the use of augmented reality and show this additional content to the user. The next really nice case could be education. with our partner University of IT and Management in Rzeszów. We built a tool for the future students of this university where they can read more about the university and every aspect of the university. And the brochure were extended with the augmented reality application where they can see additional content. It was especially the videos with explanation of some things important for the candidate, and we also have a lot of pictures. If this informator will have whole content, it will be 100 pages, but then it was 20 pages with a lot of additional content. And you can also interact with the user. You can ask him for the feedback. You can ask him for some opinion, and you can push to him some additional notifications. And you can imagine the books, for example, for children, when they, with the mobile application, can interact with this book. You can see the additional content, you can see the objects in 3D dimensions, and you can also give some interaction with the student, some tests, and etc. The next really nice use case is home staging, interior design. The biggest player in this area was IKEA with their application, where you can choose a furniture from their offer and try it on your room, for example, and then decide if it is correct for your home, for your room. Another use case is a measure. So with use of the newest cameras in smartphones, you can really nice. You can measure the objects, measure the room, and the furnitures in front of you in your camera is similar than the real object. So you can try how it will look. Another example is to try some things outdoor. For example, for our partner, Polish logistic company, we built an application where the potential clients, potential partners can try the box automat in their neighborhood and try and send them the geolocation with the picture and say, hello, I would like to have some box automat here, and fill out the form, and it could be done. And second example, for example, you have an area where you want to build a house, for example. You can choose projects from the database and try on the real area how this beautiful home house would look like. The next really good example is the industry, where you can use the augmented reality for trainings or for onboarding the new employees. You can show them how to use every single machine in the company, in the factory, and show the additional content. You can also connect with the person who you want to train, connect in live and show and mark the whole things and train. Okay, example is gaming. It's obvious. A lot of really nice games were created for this technology. The biggest and the most popular game is Pokemon Go, where the users, by walking through the real world, were finding the Pokemons and they're fighting with each other, and everything was connected with geolocation. You were seeing a map. It was a real map which you have around you, but with the additional content from the Pokemon world. Then you can see the Pokemons in the 3D front of you in the camera, and it was really popular. It earns a few $billion, and it was used in every single country, I think, in the world. The second example is from Poland. The CD Projekt company was built the Witcher game in the augmented reality stuff. And it is also popular, more than 2 million downloads for now, where you can hunt the monsters in the augmented reality. The next example is shopping. You can imagine that you can try on some stuff, some watch, some shoes, and it is there is real examples of the tools, and it's really nice working. So you can see how the newest Rolex will look like on your hand, because it's hard to find a real Rolex for now in the shop, because the demand is big and it's hard to find every single model in real world, so you can try it on the digital world. And for example, smart mirror in the shopping center, where you can try whole stuff and look yourself in this. Another example, when you connect the augmented reality with artificial intelligence and with machine learning, you can, for example, scan the object in front of you and see the additional content. You can recognize what it is, and the application will tell you what you can do with this stuff. For example, if you recognize some flower, the application could tell you how to go with this plant, what you can do with this plant, and where you can buy this plant, and you can also try on this plant in your house if you connect it with the 3D model of this plant. Another example, you scan some food and it will tell you what it is and where you can order it, and some information about the calories and all this stuff. You can scan, there are applications for cosmetic scanning, so you can scan the cosmetics in the shop and see if it's okay for you and if you can use it or not, for example. The travel and tourism, we built a few apps for our partners in the Podkarpackie region, where you can sightsee with your smartphone. For example, if you point your smartphone in front of some building, the application is telling you what is the building and what you can see, what is the history of this place and this building. Another example is the navigation with use of augmented reality. When you point the camera in front of you, you will have the directions, for example, how to go from one place to second place, and directly where you have to go and how you can just. So the examples, there is a lot of, there is more examples about the augmented reality. I chosen almost, I don't know, 1% of the possibilities of this technology. And I would like to tell you what the future could look like. Firstly, I think that in the few years we will have a really nice smart glasses, which will be a little as a real glasses, and you can use it as your additional screen and see everything in front of your eyes. You don't need to have a smartphone to do this whole stuff which I showed you previously. Second thing is the metaverse and NFT technology. I believe that there is a huge role for the augmented reality in this trend. If you know what the NFT is, you can imagine that you own some digital asset, for example the art, the digital version of the art, and you can show your friends this art in your house, for example, on the wall, with the use of augmented reality stuff, and a lot of different great things will happen. And the third trend, I think, it would be multi-tools. So the applications which connect this whole thing in one place. So you will have one or two applications which you like, and then you can do everything in one place. You don't need to have a lot of small applications. And I think the big players will extend their applications, as previously the QR codes readers were added to the simple application. I believe that, for example, your banking application will add the augmented reality feature inside their mobile banking application, and you will have the possibility to have some nice additional features. I will be happy to answer questions, and thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Paweł. It was really amazing, and of course I brought down some questions to you and Konrad. Have a seat here. Konrad, have another one. I've got the microphone, so I will give you in the next few minutes. Guys, so there was two really nice stories about the VR, metaverse, and virtual reality. You are really open to ask the question. If you want, you are really. It will be pleasure for us to answer your questions. But first of all, I would like to ask you, what does that mean that something is immersive or not? Because I think that it's really crucial in case of extended reality. So if Paweł, if you can start how immersive is used, or immersion is used in augmented reality. It will be really nice, and I'm really interested in your point of view, Konrad, as well.
Konrad, maybe you will start. You are talking a lot about immersion.
So I start with, I guess, the easier technology, which is virtual reality. Both of them are immersive, but virtual reality is like, by definition, it's immersive because both from the content perspective, because it surrounds you, and also the moment you put on the VR goggles, you're locked, you're separated from the environment, right? So there is no, there can be a moment where no outside signal is going to you. Either you can't hear what's going on the outside, or you certainly can't see what's happening. And that's one of the appeals for our clients, for marketing and training as well, because you immerse the person in the environment, and you either show them something cool that they can associate with the brand, the product, or you simulate very realistic training scenarios. So immersiveness in VR is like, it comes naturally with the technology itself, because you cut out yourself from the environment, you separate from the environment and from the distractions, and then you create something that surrounds you and sucks you into the experience, right? So that's why it's immersive.
And in augmented reality, I think it's harder for the immersion effect, because you have a lot of distractions around you, and you are not closed in this one single virtual world, but you are in the mixed world. So you have the real world around you and real distractions, and you have one place with additional content.
Yeah, of course. I think that only the one signal from the real world in virtual reality, which can influence on the experience, can be to hit the wall by your head when you are, I don't know, walking around.
Which happens sometimes.
Yeah, I know that which happens sometimes, because I'm dealing with virtual reality as well. So of course it's dangerous, but not so common. Of course, these technologies are quite important. All of them we call extended realities. So we can divide them as virtual reality, augmented reality, mixed reality. There are some concepts like augmented virtuality and so on. What do you think? What are the barriers, industrial or even some really soft, like communication, which are in front of us when we are thinking about augmented and virtual reality?
In case of augmented reality, few years ago there was a lot of barriers, because the smartphones were not ready to have the full effect of the augmented reality. There was about 10 to 20% of devices which has not a problem with this new stuff. Yes, a lot of calculations have to be done in the processor and graphics. So for now, I think that the barriers are really little in case of this. The second barrier is, I don't know, knowledge about that you can use it, and it's not only a fancy filters in the Instagram, but it can be also used for really nice scenarios. So I think that the education of society in case of new technologies, not so new, but for now the easy to use technologies, and I think this is why the next few years will be really booming for this technology.
As you predict, or you give us the prediction of the market, in next few years it will be 4 times bigger than now. Yeah. So for AR it's really amazing. And what about
it's only the AR? The VR will be a much bigger.
Yeah, another part.
So for VR it was even more complicated, and now I am at the disadvantage when it comes to technology, because you absolutely need the headset, right? You need to have specialized equipment, otherwise you will not experience VR. Me talking about VR is nothing in comparison to actually witnessing what it does to your brain, basically, because it tricks your brain into believing that you are there, no matter if it's a simulation of a real world or some abstract 3D graphics. Your brain thinks that this is real, the thing that what you see. But imagine how hard it was. Now it's much easier. Now it's like a regular marketing tool, at least. For training, not so much, but more and more people nowadays know what it is. Or by people I mean our clients. But imagine back in the day, like 2016, 17, convincing a 60-year-old, 50-year-old CEO of a company that we can do something for him in virtual reality and will have an impact on his business, that this is not a toy. This is something that will really benefit his his business. So I agree that education was the single most difficult part. Obviously, learning how to do VR, what to do, what not to do, what works, what doesn't, was difficult in itself, but it was also fun, right? Experiencing new things and creating this, being at the front of the new medium. But education was difficult.
Yeah, it was strongly connected to gaming, for example. Everyone thought that some gaming tool or...
It's a toy for kids, basically. That was the understanding.
Okay, but gaming is not only the let's say the toy. It's not only something which is just for fun. The gaming can be really serious, and even we can think about this application in virtual reality about cutting trees and so, that it is somehow like a simulator, so it can be treated as a game, but it's not. It's generally, it is teaching us. It gives us the learning experience. So I think that there is a place as well. We touch the knowledge, we touch the education, so I would like to ask you if you have any problems, or if there is really okay to find a specialist for that really specialized part of creative processes.
It's a global problem that the specialists in every single specialization are hard to find. And the biggest specialization and the newest technology, the problem is bigger. For example, when we talk about the blockchain, for example, technologically it's not so different and complicated, but the mindset is that it's a new technology and I will not touch this because I don't know how it works. And we as company founders have to educate young specialists. They are more open for the new things, and I believe that the cooperations with the universities, the business and university cooperations will be the most important thing in case of the specialists on the market for the next few years.
Yeah, because schools are not teaching people how to create virtual reality yet. Some of them do. Some of them do it like a little bit, but when we recruit people, fortunately, in Podkarpackie we have a lot of people that are IT specialists, but they are not necessarily game developers. Because, as I mentioned, it's different with film, right? We have a very vibrant film industry in Podkarpackie, I think, and it's really easy. And by the way, my background is film production. We have guys that are developers. It's really easy to find camera operators and whatnot that can be taught or instructed how to deal with virtual reality film production. But there has to be, like, basically what you're doing, you're working with a 3D engine and you're creating sort of a computer game, right? So you're developing a game, but for business use case. So guys who are experienced at game development are being hunted by bigger studios, bigger companies, and employed right away. And we obviously do the same, right? We try to do the same, but we, as Pavel mentioned, we are also educating them. So it would be cool and easier for us if there was more people on the market that were already instructed or taught how to work with VR. There's more and more people like that, but it's changing. A couple of years back, it wasn't like that. Now it's much better.
Yeah, okay. I would like to make some comment here. And another question, of course. I know the problem that, especially in Podkarpackie, we've got really big companies which are dealing with game development and even something like AAAs, so really big titles. Yeah, but we touch the skills, but we don't let's say if there should be more soft or more hard. There should be programmers or there should be creators. Creative industry is really amazing, and of course I know that really hard specialization like programming can be creative as well, but in different way. What do you think about? We should teach more about communication, about the creation, or we should teach more technically?
I think the future is in the soft skills, because the tools for software developers are at the level or the high level. So the software development now isn't similar to software development 15 years ago, where you don't have the internet, for example, and you have to have whole programming language in your head, in your mind. For now, there are a lot of tools which are supporting software developers, and there is a place for creativity. So I have the tools, I know how to use these tools, and I have to be creative to build something new, something amazing.
Yeah, and it's getting easier to create games, and that's the cool part about it. And actually, if I reply to the previous question, because there are guys who are doing indie development on their own, and when we recruit people, we don't necessarily look at the papers they present us with. We look at their portfolio, and we what I want to see is a young, motivated person that has already done something, like a really simple 3D environment and a simple game. And I know that this guy, when we give him the tools and some basic training for VR, is going to do the same thing, more or less, for VR, right? So this is already a good start, because you can be a great database specialist and you can earn a ton of money, but you will not create a virtual reality environment. You have to be creative, and this is what we're looking for. And the good part about it is that there's a lot of people like that. So we are finding them.
Yeah, it's really nice. One more. I've got some question, but during your speech, your answer, I forgot about that. What we can find here as well. We talk about augmented reality and virtual reality, and of course there is really trendy stuff which is called metaverse. This, let's say, clickbait or really hot word. I would like to state if it's really a new idea or maybe not, and I would like to ask you, and this is a little bit about the question to your presentation, Konrad, if there should be just one metaverse or there should be multiply metaverse for each, I don't know, institution, for each company, each country, I don't know, each mindset?
I think it will be hard to have one metaverse. It's similar to social media, for example. You don't have one place where you are meeting with your friends or business partners. You have a lot of places, and it could be similar here. And I forgot what I wanted to tell about the first.
You should state if metaverse is new idea.
It's not new. It's not new idea. I believe that when the first VR sets were built, the goal
in 60s.
Yes, and I believe that the creators' golden grail was to have everyone wearing this stuff and to be in another place. Now we called it metaverse, but then it could be called some real virtual world, simply speaking.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an evolution of what's been cooking for a long time. Now, Facebook obviously calls it metaverse, and we all probably associate the metaverse with Zuckerberg said, but to me it's more about not this one particular platform, because obviously there's going to be more, but about the way we consume the media. So it's probably hard to imagine right now using VR goggles because they are heavy and cumbersome, and quite frankly, not everybody can afford them. But if we have the smart glasses, if we have the technology that is cheap and consumer friendly, everybody's gonna want it. Everybody. Now, if you sit on a train and watch a movie or play a game in VR, you look like but you look like a weirdo, right? But if you have it on your smart glasses, you can browse social platforms, dating apps. Imagine that. How cool is that? So this is
10 years ago, people in trains were reading books and newspapers, and someone with mobile phone were looked different.
Or they were playing Snake.
Or playing Snake or something.
Yeah, I remember that game. It was really amazing, really immersive, but not multiplayer. Konrad said that it will be really amazing, and there will be a lot of metaversum. The same Pavel said, but I think that it's really important who was first and who was the best one, because in my opinion, Mark Zuckerberg, setting up the metaverse, would like to spread his business or rise his business to the next level, because he finds some wall. Probably some of Facebook users come out from this platform just to have some calm and be relaxed in normal world without these social media notifications and so. They don't want to be profiled and so. But I've got something really difficult for the end. I would like to ask you, is our world real? Or we have been living in some metaverse already?
Yeah, we're living in Matrix.
Yeah, we've got Matrix, we've got Deception.
It depends on the pill you take.
Oh.
Which color is the pill?
What do you drink yesterday?
Yeah. I mean, there is non-zero chance that we live in a simulation. And something oh my god, I'm 100% convinced that some of us do. Like some of the people I personally know live in an alternate virtual reality. That's 100% guaranteed. But I mean, if there is a chance, then we'll probably never know, I guess. Unless something breaks.
I think that Bill Gates said that in few years every meeting will be online and everyone will wear some stuff.
And it was 3 years ago. After that, he started pandemic. Okay, guys, being serious. What are the dangers connected to the metaverse?
I think the dangers are similar as the social media dangerous. So the content could be not good for the kids or for the people with weak emotions. There will be a lot of tools for propaganda, and as we know, the propaganda could be really bad. And I'm not a fan of thinking that we will be living in some metaverse in a few years. Maybe it will happen, but I'm not a fan of this idea. I'm the technology guy, but I really like to live in the real world, to meet with people, enjoy the places, and I can't imagine that we will be sightseeing only in our houses with the glasses on heads. I believe it could be a good tool for education education for pleasantness, but not real world such replacement.
Yeah. The dangers, I agree, the dangers are mostly the same that we face today, but amplified, because you have your smartphone in your pocket and you can have it there. But if you have it on your face and you wear it all the time, because perhaps it's already a prescription glasses, right? So I, for example, would not be able to take it off. So I would have my metaverse always with me whenever I'm using my eyes, which is most of the time. So the dangers are obviously being constantly profiled, but not only what you do, but also how you do it, who you interact with, where you are, and what you see. Nowadays, the AI training is really important for the big tech companies. So they are training the AI using you to check the captcha that you're not a robot and select the things, right? So imagine how much data they will get, probably with your permission, when you're constantly walking with a camera that points outwards and collects data and information. So obviously there's a lot of things involved in this, a lot of dangers, but if done correctly, it can be really amazing. That's my opinion.
Yeah, thanks for that. Of course, the experience and the quality of this experience is really important. I'm sure that visiting Dubai in VR is not the same as visiting Dubai in real. So
that's the biggest danger, that people will tell, I was in Dubai yesterday,
yeah.
And I think it's the biggest danger. We will not meeting each other, but
sitting in homes. Yeah.
Temperature is one advantage.
Yeah, maybe, but I enjoy the weather here. So in Poland it's something -10, so you can imagine what's the difference. Okay, guys. Of course, I'm really glad that you were with me. Of course, there can be a lot of things which we can discuss during today afternoon, but we've got limited time, so I would like to finish our discussion panel. Of course, I'm inviting all of you to visit Podkarpackie in real, not only in VR, but if you've got no chance, just visit us in VR as well. Of course, you can contact with us. It's quite easy to find the contact. So there were on Konrad presentation and on Paweł presentation. You should just Google, and it should give you the answer. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks the audience. Have a nice day.